No, wait.
Now we are.
We are, yeah. All right. Hey now. All right. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dan.
Oh, hey, Pete.
I have Dan, the all the things man here, podcast man, home buyer man, uh, the safety man,
You
occupied.
nailed you nailed the top three. That was
Right. And newly occupied flip house buyer. And I just
that is
wanted
right.
to have a conversation with you because I'm curious. You bought it. I played a role in you getting it. And then, we kind of talked about what it might look like to get the tenant out. And then you just had your first meeting. So I wanted to, with him. So I wanted to see how that went and what better way to find out how it went than just to do it live.
Absolutely. Well, I first and foremost, Pete, the meeting went, I think, pretty solid, and I think it's all the prep work you have given me before buying the house, then actually obtaining the house. I know we did a podcast on it. I can't wait to release that content because I was telling you, like, I don't see much content on how to remove a tenant. And then on the podcast, it just stuck in my brain now. It's like, that's a level 4 investor. But to go back to your original question, how did my meeting go? It's a lot of stuff. And what I mean by that is it's very eye-opening as a human being, because I'm sitting across an individual that, first of all, was very proactive. Let me say this tenant was. I called him, left him a message, and then he called me back immediately. And then he said, Dano, we spent at least an hour on the phone. And then he invited me to lunch. I was like, okay. Like, where do you want to go? He's like, I'll meet you halfway. I'm like, no. Pick the joint, pick the spot. And he did. He picked it this weekend, and we met up. And what I meant by the eye-opening part was that it's an extremely tough situation, because me as an investor wants to make money on real estate, but then me as a human being and who I am as a person is watching somebody that is struggling severely. And I think you said it's not like somebody like, oh, I wanted to start squatting, or oh, I decided not to pay rent, or oh, like whatever the issue was, the underlying issue, or an underpaying tenant as well. It's not like that person gravitated towards that. So did I answer the
So,
question?
yeah. Well, so when you sat with him, do you feel like you were able to find common ground as human beings and leave the space to find a solution that can be somewhat uh, less conflict than if you were to come to it from a different angle?
Absolutely. It was actually going back to that human part of me, and that absolutely played the role in this situation. As somebody that's been in recovery, and I mentioned that portion because it was the humbling experience, what put my ego up to here and put it all the way down there, that I'm equal to everybody else. It doesn't matter what their financial situation is. It doesn't matter what status they have. None of that matters. What matters is that we're two human beings just trying to do a little better in life, I think, very simply in those terms. And the common ground that I was able to make with this individual when I started asking questions: massive construction background. Um, he's a person that has a lot of pride. When he has remodeled certain portions of the house where he has put his time and effort into, and to validate too what he has done for the property. Maybe something in, like, my eyes, what I saw, maybe it wasn't the greatest thing I would want, but it's an individual that cares about his home. He's been there for over a decade. And on top of that, somebody, and here's another great common one. He lives. The house is right next to his parents, and that's me in a nutshell. I live next to my parents, and I can understand this. It's not just the house; it's his home, and it's a lot fragile than just saying, here's a bunch of dough and here's the door. So there is complexity behind that, which me and him are able to. I was immediately able to connect with construction and why you're living there.
Great. Whenever I'm having those conversations, I find that once I'm able to hear them, then I can decouple their or what their original demands might be, because they're going to go through the list of things that they've done, right? I've done this for the house, or I've been hurt in this way by the previous owner. I'm owed X or Y, right? They're like that. They've been keeping score and having resentments and keeping score for this person probably 15 years, you know? And the moment you at least let them get that out, they can separate themselves from that and just hear, okay, but how do we make tomorrow better than today? That's in the past, right? That was another person. One of the great things about the seller selling the property, and they had so much animosity for each other, right? So like finding a
It's a
solution would be much more difficult.
it's a long-term relationship, and I think a lot of people out there had or probably still, like I have, very long relationships with certain people where we just can't see eye to eye. There's really no fix. It's just like it is what it is, unless both parties agree to wipe the slate clean, which is very rare, very
Yeah.
rare. Because one person will come to terms and say, "Listen, I've forgiven you," or the other person's like, "I don't give a shit that you forgive me. I still have this. I'm not on that wavelength of where that other person is." So yeah, it's just like he got out of a bad relationship. It's a bad breakup.
Right.
The individual just had.
Yeah. So now what do you think your path forward is now? Did you discuss timelines, or was this just like an absorbing moment and then there's going to be a phase 2 conversation from here?
So, as you know, because you purchased the property, the property is scheduled. He already has been served his papers for the eviction. The eviction, traditionally, if you kept the house, would have gone to is scheduled for December 1st, which my attorney was quite impressed that got your attorney's paperwork and said, "Wow, this is a solid. I can move along with this." So there is a timeline with it for me. Yes, December 1st there has to be a decision made. So I actually asked him a few questions, and I just wanted to hear him out. I think one of the massive components, because I want to fill this in with it, is what, like you said, Pete, and I'm just using your words, is 90% is listening. Hear that person out, and I think it was very important to hear him out. And I just wanted to know, like, did he want the house? Did he actually genuinely want the house? And he said, yeah, I want the house, but unfortunately, he can't afford it. And I asked him, "Do you want to continue to live here?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, okay. So 2 options I have formulated while I was doing this is, first, let me say this. First, I can't make a decision unless I talk to my other investors, the other people that are involved with this property. So that gives me time instead of just giving them, "Oh, this is the answer," because I have to go back and run numbers now, which I should do in a little bit of habit. But I did it off the ballpark by pulling my spreadsheet out and said, "Okay, if you decide to live here, it's going to cost X amount of money for rent." And he was shocked. I'll give you the numbers. He was paying $2,500, and I said, "If you want to live here, it's going to be about $4,300, and that's a massive jump." And I said to him, "Mortgage. There's a mortgage on the house, AK hard money, whatever loan you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
That, taxes, insurance." So I just said to him, because even if I was to break even and then have my my capex, my repair costs as any investor would, I have to have those reserves. And then on top of that, I gotta make some cash flow. I'm not gonna have no stake in it. Like, I'm not gonna have you rent out just to break even. That's silly. That's not.
Yeah. By the way, he was paying $900 a month. He probably told you that because he was hoping to anchor that as the rent.
Oh, yeah. He's unfortunately it's tough. It's tough because as you're telling me the truth now, and I took it. Yeah, take whatever information I could. Um, when you're in, because I've been in his mindset before. I know what his mindset is, believe it or not, because of being in active addiction. It's just like you will say anything, more or less, and believe it.
Yeah.
He probably genuinely believes that he's paying $2,500 a month. It somehow he has.
And it doesn't matter. What matters is, tell me, I want to hear the story they want me to hear.
Right.
What picture do they want to be painted so that I can understand? I let them create the foundation. What is it? What is it you want? What is the narrative that you want to exist here? Because then I can formulate the path based on that narrative. So I don't even care what's true and what's not true. Tell me what you want me to believe, because I can work with whatever you tell me. So the truth doesn't matter. I just tell me the story, the narrative, then I'll build the road from there.
And he told so 40 I sold him 4,200 to cover all expenses, the loan, everything, plus make some cash flow. My investment criteria has always been, for me on a house, is if I make more, a 500 plus, I'm pretty content because I wait for equity. That's just my head. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was cash for keys. And I didn't give him a quite number yet because I asked him, did the previous owner give you cash for keys? He said, yeah, you offered me $7,500. I said, okay. And now what I need you to do, I actually texted him this morning saying, I need you to formulate a list or a lump sum, one or the other. How much is the time and material that you have put into this house? And I want to know that value. And I want to hear it. So if I do decide to go for cash, because I said it's going to be two decisions. Either it's going to be you pay the rent and it's a heavy load, because I told him it's going to be first, last, and security. We're well up, almost at, 13 grand right off the bat. Or cash for keys, where I said to him, I'm not going to push you out in December. That was one thing I said in my head. I'm not going to do that to somebody in that capacity. A decision will be made December 1st, but it's just the holidays. And it's funny that I'm mentioning this. I don't know why. I just thought of it now. It's just like I bring up addiction again. It's like the time of the year when most people go back out. And it's a very fragile state of time for a lot of people. It's funny. Like I went to one of our sites today, and the project manager's like, Dan, do a safety meeting. Shoot us with a Monday morning safety topic. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, sure, why not? And I brought up the same thing, with just alcohol, drugs, watch out for your fellow worker. So I understand this time period is very fragile. He has a 6-year-old son. I really put those factors into as well. I'm just not out for blood money, to make my coin on this.
Okay. So I would be careful to not say anything in absolutes too.
Why is that?
Because they will typically, anybody who's procrastinated, he's got a history of procrastination, will now procrastinate through December. You know what I mean? Like if they instead, like and you can be a teammate and go, I'm going to fight for you to keep you here in December.
Too smart.
This is not an easy here. This is not an easy process. My team, there's not a lot of softies on my team. So I'm going to do everything I can I need your help to persuade them to do what needs to get done for both of us. So,
Right.
because anytime we're
still coaching me, I love it. I don't even pay for you, Pete, but sure. it's really good, man. I love it.
Yeah, and look, I've had, unfortunately, I've had, I speak for a living, right? So like I have conversations for a living. So like, yeah, I hope I'm not stepping on your toes but I love these moments and those conversations to feel out where they are in their own psychology to help them get out of their own way. Because it's really about helping everyone find a better destination. A lot of people trap themselves in a bad place, and once they're released, like they don't realize the weight that's going to be off their shoulders and how they can excel.
I literally was just thinking that. I was already formulated it out in my head while you were speaking, was that this individual is too tied into this house. He literally will be set free, believe it or not, if he got cash for keys or evicted. Believe it or not. Because that house has a tremendous history behind it. There's a tremendous weight behind it. Like you said, all the resentments, all that whole list, each item that he put the countertop, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. He's walking around that house every day, pissed off, scared, annoyed, like, getting past this but there's a leap that he has to take to get to that next place. And it's going to take a good cop, bad cop. It's going to take a nudge. It's going to take the unknown of like, if I don't do something right now, if I don't take action right now, then the bad stuff might happen. So let me be a man of action.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him an answer this week. And basically, he's going to have to either pick the cash for keys or for the rent.
But you didn't give him a number. You want him to pick a number, right?
You already picked 7,500 for the cash for keys.
Oh,
so I wanted. Right. Well, no, he didn't pick that number. He said the previous one, and then I'm sorry. He actually said 15 or 20 grand.
Okay.
He's at that point. It's the math don't work for me.
Yeah, there's a great line at that moment when someone says something, and you just simply get to say, "How am I supposed to do that?" And you sit there quietly, and you let them roll through their minds. They'll speak on your behalf. There. And you just wait. You just let them say it all out loud.
Yeah.
And they'll talk themselves down, because you really can't do that. So you could just literally, instead of going, I can't do that, this thing, because as you're coming at them, they put their defensive, well, this, well, that, well, this. But if you go,
how am I supposed to do that?
Yeah. How am I supposed to do that?
One of the requests I did ask for this individual, because it is a major problem right now, is that he has a camper or RV, whatever one that you pull with the truck, and there's somebody living in there. And he told me this guy's, he's drinking all day, drinking all night. Because I went to the house and he was screaming in there. I was like, well, this is interesting. But I asked him, and he's got to be that thing has to be gone by December 1st, and whether or not he does it, I don't know. But it's I'm very like, there's a reason why this is a level 4 investor scenario. If this was one of my second deal or third deal, I think I would be losing my mind right now. But I'm very I know what I got into too. This isn't something where I'm like, oh my God, why can't I get a handle of this? No.
Yeah.
So let the cards play out, and he'll get a thing on December 1st. And if he says no to both of them, there's no more, like, So let me ask you this. Like, one of the things is like, let's say I do push the eviction. He doesn't pick either one.
Mm-hmm.
Do I just leave it at that? In other words, I just say, hey, the eviction is going to start. If you change, like what I say, like if you change your mind, let me know. But I really don't have. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, I would stay with the niceties. Remember, you're the good guy,
Correct.
right? So like, I would reach out. Like, we have Pie Day. All our people, goodbye. They're being invited to pie. So like, you could like if you were having Pie Day or something, like you can call and go. What's his name? I forget his name.
Richie.
Richie. Hey Richie. Hope you're doing well. This is just inviting you for some pie. We're giving away apple pies for Thanksgiving. We have Santa Claus bring your 6-year-old. I know we couldn't make it work, but just wanted to invite you to some pie. And just like you just stay the good cop, you let him come to you. Hey, by the way, I know you call him again. Listen, by the way, I just want to see how you're doing. And I want to see if you've thought about anything, because the longer this goes, the less they're willing to let go of. And I just want to make sure you're able to take care of yourself, because I don't want you out in the street. I don't want the sheriffs coming. I want you to be able to put something in your pocket before you go. And obviously, what they want to do doesn't fit you, and what you want to do doesn't fit them. But there's always a place to have a conversation. So, how are you?
Yeah, and that's really good. That's really good. And I just to pick that little moment you just said is like, he's probably so scared to pick up the phone. He's probably petrified to pick up the phone and make a final decision. And he maybe already formulated that. And I have to be the initiative saying, hey, how you doing, man? Just want to see how you're doing. And he's like, I thought maybe that could be the moment where he's like, I thought about it. And that had to be the moment. So I love that idea, Pete. That's great.
Yeah, I would never shut him out. I would always just like keep checking in, see how he's doing, keep the relationship, because at some point he'll realize that the clock is ticking, and what you can offer is becoming less and less, because you're spending. And I just listen, they're spending money every month on the eviction, which means that there's less money and there's more certainty that you're going to go as time goes on, which means that they're going to want to spend less because they don't have to wait. So I just want to see if there is something we could figure out.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely will be doing that. So.
Yeah. Because at some point he's gonna know it's gonna come to an end. If you keep that line of conversation, that
he was very receptive to that too. It's like I think he has his exit strategy where he's gonna move next to his parents' house next door, which if that's the case,
Yeah. Yeah. What's the number that buys dinner for your family for the next whatever? Find that do you know your number that you're willing that works, that you can do cash for keys? 20K is often not that unusual. I just handed somebody 20K a couple days ago.
It could be. I could be wrong from it. I haven't sat. If I think about it,
like what are you paying in interest with your
it's a hard money.
5-6 grand, right?
Yep.
So that's 3 months. That's a 3-month acceleration.
I think it's around what
400K is the loan. Like you have renovation costs in there or anything?
The loan is less than that. The loan is like, oh no, I do have renovation costs in there. Yes, it's hard money. Hold on.
You're probably not paying interest on the renovation costs. So yeah, your loan is.
It's only if I use it.
Right. So yes, you probably had three. You have one. Let's say you're at 30. You're at probably 3,000 plus plus utilities, insurance. Maybe you have 4,000. Maybe you're approaching 5,000 a month in a carry. So you're looking at 3 months would be 15K.
Something like that, yeah. So I really think 15. So the other conversation I also wanted to have was with my attorney to see where everything lies. and I want from him worst case scenario. I want to know what is the mark, more or less. I know he's not going to nail it, but at least an idea. Like, is it 6 months from now? Is it 8 months from now? Is it
Probably worst case scenario is 6-ish months from now, because you'll likely get the win unless they adjourn. Like he can go in there and go, I want an attorney if he hasn't done that yet, and then they adjourn for a month. Once you get the victory, then you still got to wait for the sheriff. You got to wait for the process. Like I think we're like 3 months in, so you probably got a worst case scenario of 6 months of total time, but also, paying him to get out covers spitefulness too, spiteful actions, and gets his stuff out.
Yeah. So many properties, not enough time. So yeah, 3 months. Let's say I go 3 months. That's 10 grand.
Okay.
That's the loan, taxes, and my bill. I got a builder's risk on the house right now.
Mm-hmm.
So another 3 months, 6 months, 20 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever that's worth. Like I said, I had to cut 20. 20 is probably the most I've ever cut, but I've seen people get 30. I saw someone get 40 once.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't that such a crazy? Like, it's so.
Yeah.
But I think it's also to mention this, Pete, because we're mentioning big numbers here. To understand that. I remember when I was trying to buy another property from you earlier this year, and unfortunately that fell through, but it was the same scenario. There was tenants, and I came at you. I'm like, "This is my house. I own it. Get out." And you're like, "Whoa, not the car, not the way to do it." And you're looking at money the wrong way. You can look at it as, okay, money in my pocket. He's taking money out of my pocket, or you're using it. You're formulating. Okay, that's the math behind. That's the tool to remove this, so you make money on the property. Not you are removing money from my pocket. Yeah, it is, but it's really not, because I mathematically figured out what it would be like. What would it be like? Let's see, 1 year. Let's just like 1 year.
Yeah, because you're
43 grand. If it would cost me to hold that property
right
for 1 year.
And what the normal feeling from most people is, I own this house. He's taking advantage. I'm gonna kick him out. I'm gonna do I'm right. He's wrong, right? And why should? And that's the thought process that has us great. We're right, but has us losing because we're not actually choosing our words and our actions in a way that maximizes the circumstance. We get all caught up in whether we're right or wrong versus what is the right or wrong action that leads to the best possible outcome. And that's all we need to be thinking about.
And you're right. And I think the other thing too is that no one forced me to buy this property. It was fully disclosed by you saying, "Are you cool buying with tenants in the house?" I said, "Never done it before." I said, "I'll do it, but if you help me," and obviously you've been helping me tremendously. I mean, I don't think I got powerful knowledge from you, because think about it. If I bought the house without your knowledge, I would have went in there saying, "This is my house. Get out."
Right.
But
he might not beat the hell out of it and squat it. Yeah.
He would probably beat the shit out of me.
He's got a fuse. But anyone that has a fuse,
you want to hear something funny? And that's not funny, but I just know it's just this guy is the complete doppelganger of Alexa's uncle to the T. So when I got in front of him, I was like, "Oh, it's Uncle Joe here." I already know what he wants to hear and what he doesn't want to hear. And are you are you conservative? Like everything. Just I already knew where he lied. It's just like,
Yeah.
One lives in Levittown, one lives in East Patchogue. That's the difference.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, a little cookie cutter moment.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, in wrapping this up, what would you say? What would you say the experience? How has the experience been the same or different than what you were expecting when you took on your first occupied property?
If I want to get to the next level in real estate, I need to know how to navigate tenant occupied properties. How many deals I have passed up because they had tenants in it, and I was too afraid, confrontation, take the house down, all this stuff. But it's what you said on my podcast, and I can't wait for it to be released. It's, does the math work? And quite honestly, it's not like saying I want him to destroy the house, but if he does, I'm going to flip it anyway. But what could have been saved? Maybe he does something that's the boiler's actually fine, but then he starts cutting copper pipe out. Like, I don't know. But, and I wrote this message on my Instagram last night because my wife, me and her were talking too. It's like, is accountability. You need accountability from the individual that you want to aspire to. So I want to aspire to be like you, Pete. So, and doing this call too, it's like you're checking on me, you're seeing how it's going. So I have accountability on like that. And then it's like that team effort. I wouldn't go in this blind. I wouldn't just pick up a thing without having somebody like you or somebody that knows how to navigate these waters. Because if I'm hitting the panic button, I'm calling you. You know, so it's the accountability. It's also getting to the next level. I want to be more of an investor like you, Pete, where it's just like, oh yeah, numbers work, tenant occupied, I'll take it, fine, no problem. Like, because I'm passing up on so many good deals. It's just another tool in the tool belt. So I'm excited to. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. So
Okay.
that was a big takeaway. Like I thought he'd be like, but he's scared. He's scared, and I can relate.
Yeah, I think the biggest change for people that buy rental properties that jump into what you're jumping into is a lot of times with the rental game, it's just numbers. Now you have people, personality, you have, psychology, like before it's just like the numbers work, they don't work. That's it. There's a lot of variability that comes with the words that you use now. Right. And the conversations that you have with this person where your income swings not on whether or not the numbers work, but also whether or not your words work. And the better your words are in these moments, the higher the swings in the upside you're going to have. And that's an unlock.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and I think too, it brings you down a little bit. Brought me down to again, just a human. Like, yeah, I'm doing well, investing, buying houses, but this is just an individual that doesn't even have one house, and he's just trying to make ends meet. He's trying to take care of his son, and he just doesn't know. So, and having that connection with him because I've been there before too, and I know you have been there, Pete. I really think not to say other investors can't do it. I think there's also like that believable factor that comes with that. Like I know flat out, like not to, again with the recovery, I know I've been mentioning it a few times, but even like when I was in recovery in rehab, was like there was multiple counselors, and I knew which counselor was actually in recovery and which counselor wasn't in recovery. And not to say the ones that weren't in recovery weren't good, but the emotional and connection, the human connection with the guy that actually is in recovery and is a counselor goes 100,000 times better. And so there is that psychology factor that I thought I'll be very worried about, but not at all.
Yeah, well done. All right, well, congratulations on your first occupied property.
Yes. But again, Pete, it's because of you. I mean, I really had a great year, and I think this is like kind of the way to go from buying no houses last year to buying 4 houses this year, and then connecting with you and really having you as a coach and mentor without we have anything formalized, but I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky to have you in my life, Pete. Like it's been a ride, man, and I'm very excited to see what next year lies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for sharing with the world your experience.
Well, it's because of you. I wouldn't have the house. I wouldn't have the, but yes, no problem, Pete. You know how I am, and that's why I know why you and me connect so well. We just want to, we want to give the world options. We want to give the world hope. There's always a way, and you and me had that again, same mindset. Construction worker. This is our life for the rest of our lives, and now we're on the other side. We're like, oh, how can I encourage the other people? Don't be scared. Like, but if you have a team behind you, you should be good. You should be good.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it, man.
Have a great night.
You too.